Hey, how's it going? My name's Matthew, aka EZBOT. I'm here with Blaix in the studio. Say hello, Blaix. Cool.
Hello, everybody.
Blaix is a hardware music producer, much like myself and many of us Elektron fans are. From Seattle, currently lives in Portland,
Mhm.
helps me do stuff with Modbang as well. A really great artist. You're going to really enjoy these tunes. But what we're going to talk about today is the Elektron Flagship devices, which is something that I don't talk about too much because I'm so infatuated with the Digi lineup or the smaller square boxes.
Yes.
Blake doesn't use those right now, even though you did just pick up a Digitech 2.
I did, yeah.
Cool. Which I know you're going to absolutely love once you start making some music on there. But
Hmm.
these boxes, the OGs, are
Yes.
absolutely lovely. And Blake's going to play some music for us, and we're going to have a little bit of a discussion. And just for a bit of context, we were talking about the history of when these devices came out,
Oh, yeah.
and the Analog 4, this is the Mark II of the Analog 4, actually came out in 2012.
The Mark One,
The
but
Mark
yeah.
One, yeah, the Mark One came out in 2012. Analog Keys, which has been just absolutely forgotten about, and I have a deep desire to pick up myself, came out in 2013.
Hmm.
Analog Rytm 2014,
Hmm.
and of course the Octatrack came out in 2011. So this is old. These are old
Yeah.
devices. So with that being said, why do you use them? What drew you to the Rytm and the Analog 4 and the Octatrack?
Well, yeah, like you said, even though these are the Mark Twos, not much has changed about the Mark Twos other than their size. I mean, for the analogs. They're a little bit different, like overdrive circuits, and the sampling is a little different in here too,
Or
but
there is sampling. So
well, you can sample into it,
mhm.
yeah, which is nice. Um, but why I actually, when I started with hardware, I started on the Digitact and Digitone.
Oh, you
Like,
did?
yeah.
I didn't know that. I misspoke at the beginning there. My
No,
bad.
it's okay. I had those for a little while, and then when I moved to Portland, I sold them. And then the scene in Portland is just amazing. I was just immediately inspired by folks that were into music. I was like, I got to get back into this. So I picked up an analog rhythm and an analog four, and I went for these just because I was suckered into the whole analog is better scheme.
I love the honesty right there.
And it's not, but these machines are just I really like the functions they have with kits,
True. That's a
which
really good point.
aren't in the digit well, they're in the new Digitac,
Yeah.
but they weren't in the Digitac and Digitone at the time. And the distortion circuit on the rhythm and the compressor on the rhythm is amazing, even though I'm running this into several other like end of chain things, but and then a little bit of compression on this from your template. But yeah, I just really like the sound of it. I know it's only mono sampling, but I usually crunch everything up and distort stuff to the point it's not really recognizable anymore, so it doesn't really matter that it's mono to me.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Because you do a lot of drum and bass, IDM
Yeah.
style music.
Yeah, I do a lot. I started making music in a tracker, much like a lot of us who are now in the Electron world because of the similarities. But yeah, I started making music in a tracker called Buzzmachines.
I've never heard of that.
Jascola Buzzmachines. Yeah, I had it on my dad's IBM in like the late 90s. I think I started making music in like 99 on that. And
Dude, 99?
yeah,
Oh my God, you really do go you go for
I
it.
know that kind of ages me.
Yeah, wow, you
But
go way back.
I was only 12 at the time. But yeah, then it was just I moved into like Fruity Loops for a hot minute after that, Fruity Loops 3, and then back into Buzz Machines just cuz I couldn't cut up samples like I wanted to in Fruity Loops. So I went back to Buzz Machines and then finally got into hardware. Like my first piece of hardware was when Arturia started doing stuff. I got the Mini Brute, and then I got a Digitact and Digitone, and
Do you still have the mini brute?
no,
It's
I
gone.
sold that. when
The Mini Brute's a cute synth.
I love it.
Like, it's a great sounding synth too.
Yeah.
It's got like, it's got the little semi-modular patch section. Like, it's a cool synth.
Well, not the first one didn't. The Mini Brute. I think you're thinking of the Micro.
I am thinking micro.
Yeah.
Does the micro
the,
actually have...
the Micro has like a little, I think 8
yeah.
pinpoint like modular part, semi-modular part, and then like the Mini Brute 2 has the whole like semi-modular patch bay on the right side.
So that was your first synthesizer.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I actually recently sold that when I moved to Portland. Sad day, but I have it, tons of it sampled, so it's all good.
So you're sampling. So you use the sampling on the rhythm.
Oh yeah, a lot. I use it a lot, especially like right now. I'm writing a new set that it doesn't even. It uses this, but I'm sampling my Analog 4 into the rhythm because everything I write to perform live, and
We have that in common, for sure.
So I want to like minimize my footprint and especially when I'm like going to venues a lot, and I'm building a case right now, and I want to eliminate this and just bring this the rhythm and the Octatrack, or maybe even eventually just the Digitakt and Octatrack. I haven't decided yet because I just got but yeah, so right now my new set and my workflow is like develop everything on here, mostly use all samples, and then use the 3
kind of like
analog
a Syntakt.
engines. Exactly. I'm using it as
workflow.
like a Syntakt with samples. And then when I ever need chords or anything, I sample the Analog 4 into the rhythm.
So how do you go about that process? Because I thought, is this running into this, or this is running into this?
My Analog 4 is running into the rhythm. Okay. So like if we went into direct, oops. Audio left, right.
Dude, I wish. So I have a Rytm Mark 1, and the only way you can sample on the Rytm Mark 1 that I have found, and maybe you saw this, I don't know, maybe we talked about this at one point, was I have this app on my phone. I still have it. I don't think you can get it anymore. But the app lets you plug USB into a Rytm Mark 1, and then you can sample from your phone. It's not like really the same sampling. It's not normalizing or anything. It just goes right into the 1 gigabyte of memory built into the rhythm, just right into it.
Yeah.
Like into its folder system, which I found was like cool. It's not ideal. It's not like, what you're doing here, but so you take the chord progression. So are you playing this?
I usually punch it in live. Yeah.
Okay. You punch
because I'll cut it
in
up. I'll
live?
cut it up. Yeah.
What the hell? Oh,
Well,
that's
like
cool.
that's what I've been doing. So
That's definitely that's a bit more tricky than
it can, yeah. But I'm just hitting like 2-3 chords. Like I'm not.
I mean, still though, like, a lot of people who are programming their music, like they're oftentimes I've found in my experience, people aren't punching in anything live except for maybe some like drum triggers or something like, but not usually chord progressions or notes. It's just it's just more rare is what I mean. So that's cool. That's cool. Before we continue this discussion, I would love for people to get to hear some of your tunes.
Okay.
So if you want to play
Yeah.
any track you want for us, like in its complete,
I'll go through it.
do a full
quick,
track for us.
because I think it's about 7 minutes long. But I'll go through this track, and then
What do we have over here? I'd love for people to see this.
So this is a brand new track. So I'm using a lot of notes right now. I'm gonna play this track. It's probably really hard to decipher, but really, I just have like in between my patterns, I have either a dash, which means like a light transition, or I put like a lightning bolt, which means
you have like a language for it.
yeah, which means kind of like a heavier transition. And all that kind of tells me is what transition I'm going to decide to use on the template, on the EZBOT template. And I'm using your ultimate template.
Oh, you are.
Or no, sorry, the newest performance template.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Blaix is the person who made these magnets or designed the art for them, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you for doing that. But yeah, let's hear it. I'm ready. I'm stoked. Let's hear some tunes.
Okay. Let's get out of here. turn this off. So right now, it's not using any of the analog 4. So this whole set is rhythm only.
Okay.
But I'll just get into it.
Yeah.
Dude, that was such a banger. I know what you were doing.
Yeah, I'm working on that bit. It's
so-
really hard to get that transition because of
the problem with the Octatrack.
Yeah.
And so let's really quickly let's address that because so people understand what's going on here. So
awesome. Let's do that.
I mean, you can explain it if you want.
So the Octatrack has a really hard problem recognizing, or it can't recognize the tempo over 160, and that song's in 190. So when I record a loop, when I transition between tracks, I record a loop in the template, fade over to that loop, start the new track on the rhythm, increase or decrease the tempo to match, and then fade back to match, basic transition. But since it's not matching the tempo in the loop, I think it does it in half.
It does.
So it's like it has like
Which
this
is double time.
stuttery double time effect, which is kind of cool, but not what I want. So I have to, like, after recording the loop, when you go into your loop view or your recording view, you go into the file attributes, and then then you have to scroll down to the original tempo, change your original tempo, all within, trying to do it within 1 or 2 loops so it doesn't get too obnoxious for people.
Yeah.
And it was working, but and I did it and it was perfect except for
time stretch turned
time
off.
stretch was turned off for some reason.
Also, alternatively,
let's change that.
Just FYI, something instead of like thinking about the tempo of your track, you could just pay attention to the bar number too. I don't know if you were, maybe that's already how
do you mean?
do it. Because it tells you how many bars you are playing.
Oh, okay.
Like it says 15.02, so it's saying that it's guessing the bar length.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's just an easier way. Instead of trying to figure out the tempo, you can just adjust it to the bar length. Because you want it to be 8 bars.
Right. 16 bars.
I mean, if you're recording
Right?
16 bars worth of audio.
No, 8 bars.
Yeah. Even though it says 111.80.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Maybe it's 4
Well,
bars.
regardless.
No, it's not.
Dude, that track,
That's
that's
sorry,
that's
that
one of
was
your new tunes.
distraction.
That
Yeah.
track is a banger.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been I have this techno show. Yeah, that's my version of techno. So I have a techno show coming up on the 9th in Portland. It's called Night on Earth, and so I accepted to play just for the challenge to write some like more dancey type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of my take on it.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
that's one
like
of the.
There's more melody to it than what I'm used to.
Yeah, techno's usually not very melodic.
No, I mean like what I'm used to with your tunes. Like your tunes
Oh,
are
yeah.
like, and from what my experience of your music is usually like it's faster and very technical and lots of saturation, just lots of like noisy textures that are, I don't know. You have a great sound.
Yeah.
That I thoroughly enjoy.
Thank you.
Speaking of shows, you're playing
Yeah.
a show tonight.
Oh, yeah, I'm playing your show.
You're
Playing Modbang tonight.
He's playing Modbang tonight, and then another show as well. Let's bring this up really quick. So Blaix is on both of these bills. He's playing tonight at Modbang. That's at the 4Bs here in Seattle. It's a free show. Very community oriented thing. Like it's a really great spot to meet people and connect and do some of that, get to know people in the community. But then you're also playing this awesome Modbang show in August, which I'm playing with you, which is going to be great. Brother vs. Robots playing, Sam Shankar, Neil Elsa's a basic show, which is going to be dope, which you are putting on.
Yeah.
In
That's it's been nerve-wracking, but it's happening, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that's
gonna
going to be a good
huge
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be perfect for that show. Like you're
I mean, everyone. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, that show's gonna be. I'm so excited.
Okay. I'm excited. What I love about doing these live streams with artists, one of my favorite parts about doing this with different artists is now we get to have a discussion about how did you make that music, right? Like
Yeah.
this is the cool part for me. Like now I get to learn, how does Blake do this shit? And answer some questions that people had. So actually, let's talk about, there's a couple questions. One person wanted to know, I wish I could highlight questions. I don't have that set up on my streams yet, but somebody asked, is the max the end of chain compressor?
Yes.
Is everything feeding into the max?
Yeah, the output, everything goes into the Octatrack, which then goes into the max and out to either house or a mixer on my end, so I can plug headphones in or something. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, this is end of chain.
So what is Bestie doing?
Bestie is adding a little bit of saturation to the already very saturated analog rhythm. And I use it a lot, especially on like my ending tracks. I could just show you like a bit of the end of this track. Let's get out of here. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
So
Look at this amazing comment you got. That was like witnessing Square Pusher and Octatrack doing a live jam session deathmatch. That's a pretty. Those
those
sick
are
comment.
pretty heavy influences, obviously, of mine. So yeah, that's all I listened to as a child. Yeah, so at the end of like most the end of my sets, I go insane on the Bestie. So so I'll just show you what I do.
Yeah, I'll watch levels for you.
Okay. No, it should be good. You taught me that trick, so. Get this one.
Yes, that was great. Nice work, dude. That nice.
Yeah, I forgot
silly transition.
I didn't have the looper turned on, but yeah.
There's so much to like wrap your mind, like when you're doing like, you know, similar workflow to what I'm doing, right? Using the Octatrack as a performance mixer.
Yeah.
There's so many tricks that you can do to move from idea to idea, pattern to pattern, and I love seeing other people's like your take on how to do that.
Yeah.
And that was great. It sounded awesome.
Yeah, I use the like freeze delays like constantly.
Yeah. Well, freeze delays are the best on higher tempo tunes. Like,
Yeah,
stuff
100%.
that's got like like if you use it on like a techno track that's at like 135 or whatever,
No.
it ain't so good. I'm guilty of doing it all the time on accident. I'm like, God damn it. I shouldn't have done that.
I don't know. I think it's great, and even with like melodic stuff, you can kind of rearrange like the melodies a little bit.
True.
Kind of like change it up and like find a groove or find a rhythm that kind of works, and it's just a little improv you can do while playing. Yeah, love it.
Okay, well, okay. Now I want to know, how do you start a song like that? I am not familiar with writing music that
Yeah.
sounds like that. So would you tell me, teach me how to make this Square Pusher Octatrack
You're right.
deathmatch tune.
Well, I should probably start a new project because I don't have any space left in this project. But I can keep the same like template or same tempo. Maybe let's do the 190. It's kind of my go-to.
I don't think I've ever written a song in 190.
Oh, well, track 3 is wait.
I'm all for it. Let's do 190.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's just do it.
Don't do what I do. I'm done.
Well, track 3 is 210. So.
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know. I just feel like the faster the better, but that's probably just an old.
I love it.
It's just what I grew up with, I guess. Yeah. So let's just go to a new project. Call this Solo 3.
What's up, Circo?
Oh, Circle's in the chat. Oh, Puzzle Teeth's in the chat. They're a local noise band in Portland. They're amazing.
Sick.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. So now we have blank. No, we don't.
You can hear that compressor doing its thing.
Yeah. So let's not do that. I went to a new pattern, or new projects. Oh, I did save project. Why can't I go to new project?
I mean, we don't have to. You don't have to make it like a whole track from scratch right now. We could. You could like kind of like dissect the track you just played for me.
Yeah.
Which could be pretty cool.
Okay.
Like just show me like what is going on a pattern to pattern, track to track basis. Like where these sounds come from. What's your go-to on generating like the kind of sound that you gravitate towards?
Okay. So we could talk about the first track I played.
Yeah.
And so what I'm doing with this new set is trying to eliminate the Analog 4, just in that it's not another device I have. It's still very much part of the set because I sample a lot of the sounds from it. But we got a little noise, but so right now what I'm doing is all these tracks up here are samples. So we have, this is from Analog 4. So this is just some strings. And then of course you can add like tons of bitrate reduction and all the goodies that the Analog Rytm has. A kick, which I believe is just like a 909 with some heavy overdrive, some percussion type stuff, and I think these are just program locked on their individual patterns. So that synth sound is the internal synth of the Analog 4. So that's why I'm like not using the bottom 3 tracks for...
Of the Analog 4 or the Analog Rytm?
I'm sorry, the Rytm.
Okay.
I'm not using the bottom 3 tracks for drums. I'm using them for synthesis.
So they're all dual VCOs? Or
Or
Syrah, I guess,
yeah,
now.
they're all one of the synthesizers. So this one is a Syrah.
Have you been using chip at all?
The chip.
Oh, cool.
I use the chip for my 303.
You do?
Yeah, because it's got a square. It's got a
can we
square
hear that?
wave. Let's see what pattern it's on. Maybe 5. Might not be in this track. There it is.
That's the chip?
Yeah.
That's sick.
So it gets the job done, but it's not quite, it's not
It sounds
a
very 303-ish. You know what? Just to bring this up, you were able to solo. That's you're not going to be able to do that on your Dig Attack. Even though technically, there's no solo. There is solo, but it's only via MIDI controller. So you have to program a MIDI controller to send a CC that solos tracks.
I'm returning this thing.
But there really is no solo. But there is page loop.
I don't do solo very often live, but I do it when I write.
I would use it all the time if I had it. If I had, I should set up a controller so I can hit a button that just like solos a group.
Does that just mute everything else, or is that like a true solo, like solo.
I think it's I think it is like a digi style solo, which this is, because like, so the difference between the kind of, sorry, I'm gonna turn this off for a second. The difference between the solo on like the Octatrack and the solo on these boxes and then forward in the Elektron realm is that they solo the MIDI in the device, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this solos the audio.
Right.
That sucks. Like, that could be cool, I guess, in some instances, like double pressing stop and like, right? But you can do that.
Yeah.
But
I have some like instances where I would love to mute the audio of some of the like longer one shots in here instead of having to like program like the amp volume in a on a trig or something.
Yeah.
I would love a way to mute the audio on this, but I don't. Maybe there is a way. I don't know. Maybe not.
I mean, they're not in the way that you're doing it already. Like, there's not an easy way.
Yeah. Solo your soul. Okay.
Solo your will do.
Deal.
Can do.
So yeah, like when that side chip came out, I was immediately like enamored by being able to, sorry for the noise. And I just put like a LFO on the frequency to like give a little bit of variation. And then you can program slides too on this.
Really easily.
Mm-hmm.
And on this really easily.
Yeah. This one actually has like portamento, but this you have to like, the way I figured it out is in the source, just use the tune knob and it'll slide your tune. So if I just want like a slide, like an octave up or, you know, a fifth or seventh or something, I just do tune to, you know, up 5, 3, whatever.
Oh, nice.
And then that will slide. And then it slides all the other parameters too that you have logged, which is really cool. But yeah, that side chip makes an awesome 303. And I just got the DB04, and like
You did?
Well, not just like I got it almost a year ago now, but I was like writing this whole album around it, and then that side chip came out, and I'm like, don't even use the DB04 anymore.
Do you mean the DB01?
DB01, yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
I was like thinking.
No,
I was thinking DB4.
The unreleased DB04. No,
the
the Four Boys DB01.
Yeah, for a second I was like, wait, you got a DB4, and I was like thinking the mixer, and then I was like, wait, DB01 must be anyway.
Yeah.
No, the DB1, it would be great in this setup. In fact, you were talking about like if you were to sample your analog 4 into your rhythm, and then maybe you were going to take this out of the loop, I would keep the DB1, because having a synth that you can play hands on, I think it's
the only thing
really
I hate
useful.
about it, and I would keep it in my live set 100%, but I can't send like bank changes to it.
I know.
So
I know.
And having to do that manually while worrying about everything else is kind of a pain in the butt.
It's too much. It is too much.
I did it for a couple sets, and it has like a really cool random feature. So like what I did was like the first track was everything works because you can send program changes through scene 1 like just fine. But as soon as I got to like bank 2, like everything I write is mostly one song per scene or bank.
I noticed that. Yeah, you have a lot of patterns for that song.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll fill it up usually sometimes, and then I'm just like, well, I guess I'm done.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's a good way to have it conclude a song. Like, be like, it's done.
Yeah.
It filled up 16 patterns. Like, yeah.
And then you can do like muting and stuff a lot. One thing I wish this had was pattern mutes, which I know the Digitech does.
It does via the arranger, but
Yeah.
you're not using the arrangers.
No. Yeah. I want it to look like I'm doing something on stage.
You are doing something. And you move through those patterns so quickly. I mean, just moving through your patterns is
I
doing
rushed through that.
something.
That should have been like probably a 7-minute set, like song.
Okay.
But I kind of rushed through that.
It did seem
Just for
like
the
I was
stream.
like, there's grooves in there that I was like, I could sit on this groove for
Yeah.
a while. Like,
And I do a lot of muting and like on each pattern. So.
right. And then probably more like performance effects and
Yep.
synth tweaking.
Exactly. Where were we?
We were talking about how you go about writing these tracks. So you were starting
Okay.
with that like square pusher sound. That like first track has that like dual VCO. It's like tuned to a fifth.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds
Yeah.
very square pusher to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's huge inspiration, especially in like pattern 3 when it put the filter down a little bit. and that's the same voice, but I have it trigger locked on a
So
dual VCO.
to write something like this, like, what are you doing? Are you jamming on this in chromatic mode, or are you using this sequencer and MIDI, or or you just manually trig lock?
I use the new chromatic and then the scale mode. So right now I think it's
God, I forgot about scale mode. And
I have this
the rhythm update is
kind
so
of
enormous.
a weird scale F. Look, what is that?
Locrian.
Locrian? Yeah, I know that. So anyways, I took 3 years of piano lessons. I should know a little bit, but I don't remember nothing. So yeah, so I have this here, and I'll have it go with like maybe a drum beat, you know, and then in chromatic mode, and I'll record it in, and I'll have it quantized. I think that pattern though, I actually used the Euclidean.
Really?
And use the Euclidean, and then from there change the notes.
Oh, cool.
Because when I go back and look at it, I was like, there's no way I wrote that fast. And then
I'm glad the Euclidean was so useful.
I use the Euclidean a lot, especially like for hi-hats and stuff. I use it a lot. And then for drum programming,
are you chopping breaks and stuff?
I do a lot of breaks, and then I'll layer I usually start with like a 606 pattern, or 909, or the internal synthesis here, and layer it with usually 606. It's just kind of like my go-to samples.
I like 606.
Yeah, they're so I think here
Well, because there's no chopping, there's no slice machine or anything like that on here. What are you doing with the breaks? Like, how do you manage that?
I just use program locks on the start point.
Yeah.
To slice everything.
So like an
up.
OG, OG. To me, I guess that'd be OG Dig Attack, because I use breaks on the Dig Attack a lot, and I did even before they had slice machines, but I never did with my Rytm. I guess I didn't use I used my Rytm like explicitly for techno.
The original Mark 1 didn't have the waveform view, right?
Right.
So that would be really hard, I feel.
It is. I have the original Mark 1, and it is hard. I do love the Mark 1. There was this rumor at one point in time, and I think maybe I've told you this, but there was this rumor going around that Elektron was maybe gonna make a Mark II in the original form factor.
Oh, I would love that.
And it was just a rumor that, like, I don't even remember how I heard, like, where that came from, but god damn.
Yeah.
I wish it was real.
I know. I hope when or if they ever do a Mark III, it just goes back to this format.
I know. This format's the squares are the best. I mean, these are squares too.
I mean, I love this. I love how big it is, and it's probably really good for like heat management or whatever, but lugging it to venue is, I don't know, it's not very fun.
Yeah, it's a thing. They're big.
Yeah.
Like these are like, look at the Octatrack is not small. These are chunky guys.
Yeah.
They sound
It's a lot
so
to
good.
complain about. Well, there's probably people here that have full bands, and
I think it's okay
lug
for
around
us
a lot
to.
of
That's
stuff.
true. That's true. But I think it's
First
okay
world
for us
problems.
to complain about that stuff.
So I figured out how to start a new project.
Plays incredibly difficult programming, and then
No, I just had to scroll up. It's like, where'd it go? Why can't I was like, thought it was breaking. So I can kind of show you what I do.
yeah,
and,
let's
or
yeah,
like
so,
how
okay,
I'm.
if you're down, show me. Let's do it.
If we got time, yeah.
Yeah, we got time.
So with my new set, what I'm doing is for all of these top tracks, like I said, I am turning down the source, and they're all samples only. So I take all these out, basically. We don't want none of that, especially them toms. Just kidding. And then these.
I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people turn the tops off.
I use a bass tom for a kick a lot.
Do you?
Or layer it in on top of a kick. But kick is good, but we're not using it.
Dude, the new acoustic kick.
It's nice. Yeah, it is really good.
Okay.
We could resample it and use it. But I need this voice for synthesizer. So let's go to like a dual VCO here. And then maybe we could do the chip here. And then, so to turn this into a 303, you just turn this to 0. And then turn this to a square wave. You can also give it pulse width modulation, which is really cool. And then I just make it really short, as you should. And then I like to add like a +1 on the attack, just so I get a little funky,
Little something.
little something on the for the filter envelope. And yeah, that's it. That's really all I do. I don't delay on it sometimes, and then you can add overdrive to get like squelchy.
The analog overdrive is so nice to have.
Yeah. And then maybe we could just start there. And then I would load in samples 606. These are all from samples from Mars. They have like a sale every once a year, and I
It's
get
like
it.
literally every sample on the planet.
Yeah.
They have in there, so.
Yeah, so I have their whole pack, so I get that. And then I sample in from like a lot of my voice samples and stuff is just like from YouTube or Instagram. Like I'll have a folder on my phone and like save things that I want to sample. And I have some already recorded we could use, or I could show you how I do that as well. And I just load like the clean kit, so like just select all. I usually just load as much as I can until I run out of room, and then I go in and delete what I haven't used.
Oh, okay.
Things get out of order at that point, but there's a really quick way to delete what's not being used, which is really nice.
You're not going to be able to do that on your Digitech 2 because you're going to be able to load a bajillion sounds.
Well, I love
like
that.
You've never before been able to. 400 megabytes of stereo samples.
Dang.
It's a lot. Like I am
What's
like
this? Like 32 or
of like memory that can
Yeah.
be there's a gig of samples that you can it goes by sample slots. I don't know. I actually don't know the memory amount. Maybe somebody in the chat knows the rhythm memory amount, because I don't remember.
So to program my drums, I do it a lot like how I would on a tracker. I'll use it one track for
That makes sense.
my drum. So it's all linear drum programming.
Like you'll do the hats on the same track too?
Usually.
Okay.
Yeah. So turn that down. Let's just get like the kick in there. And then I don't know, I do a lot of triplets, and I don't know. Let's just get something in there. And then get your snare. And then your hats. So that's kind of
It's in 2 seconds.
that's what I usually. Well, that's why I love Elektron, and I love like just the linear, like programming of it, and
I mean, it sounds cool. Like I'm already digging it.
add a little bit of delay.
So you'll get, like, a quick-
reverb, but take it off the kicks.
Quick rhythm pattern, and then you start jumping over to like.
And then and then from here I could be like, oh, now we need like a bass line. And what is super awesome about this new scale mode is that you don't need to know scales. Add scale. I write almost everything in C minor. So then I don't know, it's just a scale I really like. But with that you could choose any scale you want. But yeah, I chose C minor. And then maybe record a little bass line in here. Maybe we change this a little bit. There's some really cool things you could do with the dual wave or dual oscillator. 'Cause, 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 'c then I don't know, try and find a bass line in there. Oh, we need to change the pattern line.
So
My timing's usually really horrible, so I have to like go in here and pick stuff up. Even when it's quantized.
Oh look. Oh wait, am I? I didn't realize that they added that to.
Yeah,
This is in the dig attacks that it shows you that you've microtimed.
Yeah.
God, I love that.
Yeah.
Rytm is so sick.
Yeah, that's new. That came with the last update. So yeah, we go and fix all of it. But a little swing is kind of cool sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I don't usually add swing because my stuff is really. I don't know.
Well, it can get a little like if you go too high, if your tempo is above like what is it 150 or something, like swing can get a little hard to interpret. It just kind of sounds like things are slapping into each other.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that I have like this simple groove, maybe I would go in here and like add a pad, you know.
Like, polyphonic analog 4 is so slept on.
I love it. That's what I
So
use it for mostly.
Slept on.
And then now that I'm sampling the polyphony, it opens 4 more tracks for me. So I have like that sampled, and then I go back in here and
Oh yeah, yeah.
do
of course.
some rhythm stuff or whatever. But like just easily like some Twin Peaks stuff. I don't know that quick. And then I would just sample it in direct. Why is it starting? Why am I not seeing it? Oh, you know what? I have it going into the external input, not the audio input.
Why not just use the audio input?
You can't select the audio input as a source. Or the external.
Oh, well then what's even the difference?
I think the external is affected by like the compression and
Yeah, that makes sense.
and everything else, but the audio input is just for sampling, I believe. It's just nothing to see here. Okay, there it is. And then now that I have that going, I would arm, and then I would just play in some chords. I don't have monitoring on, just hope it turned out. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I mean that works for the purpose of what we're doing. And then I would save it. Blooded Ubiquity.
That's what you were gonna name it anyway.
Yeah, it's so smart. And then I usually put my pads on like these 2 things, and then you can do some like cool choking on them.
Okay.
So yeah, so now that's in there, and
I didn't even think about that. Putting the pads on the 2, or putting the pads on 2 pads, so that you can choke between the 2. That's a cool idea.
Yeah. And there's actually a really cool, I could show you a really cool thing that you
Please
can
do.
do with chokes and like the dual VCO and a kick for like techno. It's super cool. Circle probably knows what I'm talking about if he's still in the chat. But let's see if this will play. Sample. Of course, I put it on the wrong trig. then it's mono now, so a lot of times I'll add like a ping pong delay to it to give it some width, or I'll go in the LFO and then put it on the pan and make the pan really fast to give it some like artificial width. Which is kind of fun. Of course I can't hear it. So yeah, and then from there I would layer on like kick drums or a breakbeat or more synth sounds.
So okay,
303.
you're at 100. Like, do you have a bunch of breaks like in there that are at 190?
No.
So what do we do?
Normally if I were thinking ahead of time, I would have breaks loaded in here, time stretch them in my Octatrack and then resample them into here. Or in Ableton, just resample them at the BPM I want. But lately, I just been repitching them and beat matching in the rhythm. So
That's what I do on the Digitech.
just repitch.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the repitch engine is so convenient for that. Yeah, you'll find that you're gonna be. It's a breakbeats machine. Like you're gonna really love Digitech too.
Man.
Like, I keep bringing up Digitech too
Yeah.
because Blake just got a Digitech 2 and hasn't gotten to make music on it quite yet because he's got
Right.
he's playing these shows with these.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
love
really looking forward to it. I might write, since that my set project is completely full, like the whole set and like the kits are full, and like on that last project I was playing, I might use it as like a second device and like kind of DJ between it with the Octatrack on that techno set because I think I have to play for like an hour.
a
So
long time
I might write some
for
tracks.
hardware. That is.
Yeah. So I might write some tracks on that.
Cool. That'll be sick.
yeah.
And it's a small footprint, so it's like.
Yeah, I can easily bring this and
Do
this
you have
Digitech.
a tracker? Do you have an M8?
I don't have an M8. I have the
Polyend?
Yeah.
Nice.
The mini.
Yeah.
I got it for like traveling and stuff. I like it. I was gonna bring it and show some stuff on there, but it's mostly things I recorded my nephew and we made silly tracks and it just kind of fun to.
Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So looking for breaks like these, I have labeled. They're all at BPM 121 for some reason. Not sure why, but so I got tons of breaks. Of course, the usual. Oh, here's some 172s. The reverb's on it because I'm this track. Go to this track.
Where do you get your breakbeats from?
These were from Loop Cloud, I think.
Nice.
All from Loop Cloud.
I actually really like Loop Cloud.
Oh, me too.
That was really convenient.
Yeah, some Aerosmith. Maybe these weren't from Loop Cloud. Buffalo Soldier. Let's do that one.
Hopefully we don't get.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Let's not do that one.
What do you want?
I have other breaks.
Copyright strike.
Here we go.
Aaron, the time stretch on the Octatrack is pretty good.
Oh, I love these bad breaks. Let's do that one.
Legally distinguished from Buffalo Soldier. Fair enough.
Okay, so let's go in here. Load that sample. And so I just usually throw a trig on the beginning, or shorten it
Yeah,
to,
let's see this.
to 1. Oops. Not that way. Wait, why is this? Oh, is this where I put my drums?
Yeah, you did. You put it.
Usually I
on,
put
you
my
it on
break
9.
there and my drums here.
So you just replaced your
No,
default sample.
did I? Yeah, I did. Let's go back to the kick. Thank you.
I got you, Doug.
Bro, you're on this. On it like Donkey Kong. Let's mute this stuff for now so I can see what I'm doing. So from here, yeah, you have to. I like to see what I'm doing. So it needs to be a little faster.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So now I can layer. I love layering my breaks on top of like those programmed drums. Usually on my breaks, I'll put a high pass filter on it. Yep. I'm not really worried about the kick too much. That sounds horrible, but yeah. Breakbeat, like you could try to cut it up a little bit. So this is where I would love slicing, where this shines. But doing it in here has its own perks as well. So maybe every other pattern is every pattern takes that trip. So. Noodle until you find something you really like. Another really fun thing I like to do, we could do it in this, So in this, we could, one thing I really like to do is add like mutes. So I'll like mute that and then copy. So that's fun though.
That's cool.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Wait, okay, hold on a second. What did you do? I wasn't paying attention. I was like...
So I did trigger locks on the amp volume.
Oh, okay.
So like on this one,
it's
off.
You're gating it.
Yeah, I'm just, and then this one it's on. So I just get like that little choppy bit.
I like to do that. A similar thing with like melodic lines, like pads and stuff, with a square LFO, and then you can change the BPM multiplier on different steps, and you'll get like this and you can do like cool triplets and stuff that way.
That sounds cool.
It is cool, yeah. I think you'd probably enjoy that process.
With the BPM, you're changing the BPM?
The BPM multiplier and the LFO.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh.
Yeah, it's a cool way to
I do that.
Similar.
Oh, I do the last bit of that one song where things start like cutting out. I'm using an LFO on like the chords and
sick.
stuff, but I'm doing it in time. It's at like at the times 8 or whatever.
Right.
The LFO timing. That sticker you made is gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, no one. I thought that was gonna arrive today. You
'Cause,
made it.
Well, you're whatever. And then yeah, because the timing and the math is not mathing sometimes.
Me and Blake teamed up, and we made these magnets for the Octatrack, but I made another magnet. Blake did the graphics for it that you can put on your Diggy devices, and it tells you the LFO times, which is going to be really cool. So it's like, so you can know the beats with your LFOs. Should be sick.
Yeah, that is going to be really helpful because math is not my strongest.
Because we don't have math.
Yeah, spelling, math, all of the things. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't a full track or anything, but that's just kind of my
I totally
process.
got. Yeah, I get the workflow.
I always start with drums and then usually go to a bass, and then figure out like a chord progression, and then on top of that, I'll start writing like melodies and stuff
Sick.
with a different synth voice.
Could you will you play us another one of your songs from your set for tonight?
Sure. Yeah, I can.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'll load it up here.
I like these project names.
Final version 1, version 2. That's how all my design files are named.
Final Mix 25.
I usually have like an idea. This one's called Solo Rhythm 02 because it's my second try. But yeah, let's go bank 1. Here. So I will be addressing my notes because this is still all a new set to me. Like I finished writing, I'm still not done actually. Usually I have a lot going on the, like the quick performance side. I still have to go through and add some quick performances, and also on fill, I'll add a lot of fills and different patterns and stuff. I still got to go through the entire set and add that. It's in there a little bit here and there, but still working on it. But yeah,
Totally. I'm in the same place. In a lot of this, like I played that show recently, and like those 2 tracks I opened with for my set, they were on the mate, and I don't consider either of those finished. And a lot of my songs, I really feel like that's what I love about the hardware thing.
it's
like,
always changing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like I'll get inspired by something else, someone else, another artist. Like now I've gotten inspired by some of the stuff that you've done, and now I'm like, oh, and now I want to write some music that sounds like this because this is so cool. And
Yeah, now I have melodies in my music because of you.
Don't put that on me.
It's all your fault. All right, so we ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Dude, that
Got
was
some decay
awesome.
on that bass.
That was a great track.
Thank you. Yeah,
There
that's
was
the intro track. It's a little
is
slower
it?
than most, but yeah.
Okay. There was a pattern on there that was just so sweet. Just so good.
Like melodically or the.
It was just like I just loved it.
Yeah.
Like I mean the whole thing was really good, but there's a certain there's always a part of a song that's your favorite part.
It's a really silly track for me. Usually my stuff is really minor and.
Oh, you mean because it has like
It's more like
a jovial.
Yeah, it's more like upbeat. Like,
Yeah.
It's really different for me, but I like it a lot.
Well, I always like I'll play a show like the last one that I played where I felt like everybody was just so much darker than me.
Oh yeah,
And I feel like, and I think that I write like, some like sad boy tunes too, but like not in comparison.
yeah. They it's Portland.
It's poor.
They're sad.
But no, I like
it's
it.
all
Like
good.
it's cool to have the juxtaposition of the two elements, so like something with a little bit, because now you open with something like that and everything else is gonna seem darker and more
Yeah.
criminal. And I don't know, it's
Yeah.
awesome, dude. I love that tune.
Thank you. Yeah, I have like the third track on the set is super melodic, which is it's just really different for me. But
I like it. You have a knack for it. Like you have an ear for melody.
I'm working on an ambient album. Like I show you like screenshots of my ambient like system I want to build. But like I've been like writing ideas and stuff.
Do you
and-
mean Eurorack system?
Yeah, like Eurorack, and I was thinking about a sequencer to use, either a Digitac, but I'd like to use something generative, like the Oxy or something.
Oh, nice.
And then
You gonna get on the Oxy train?
take some Oxy, and then demonetized, and then a polysynth, either to sample in or to like maybe like a small like footprint polysynth.
Smaller than your Analog 4.
Yeah,
Is that what you mean? Because you do have a 4-part. Well, it's like a
yeah,
4
that's
voices.
true.
That's the problem with the Analog 4. Like that's like one of my issues with the Analog 4 is the lack of. There's just not enough voices.
Right.
Like I want more. Like because we want to do poly and bass lines
know.
and leads. All
Analog 4 Mark 3 should be 4 Analog 4s.
Oh, what I want is them to make Analog Keys Mark II or something. Or Analog
yeah.
Keys 2 or something, right? And give us, 8 voices
Mm-hmm.
and 4 tracks. Like I'd be,
That'd
like a
be
digatone
awesome.
or
Yeah.
something. Or maybe we'll see with the what is it? What did they cut? What
Oh, he's a Micro Monster.
Syn-
I was looking at
Syntone?
that one. Yeah.
Right, which you're bringing up because of the Elektron stream, right? Because
Yeah, I
you brought
saw
it up to me
Ricky
as well.
use it, and I was like, oh, that looks good. But yeah,
Yeah, it does sound good. I mean, it's, it's
it
very,
sounds good too. Yeah.
very digital compared to what we have here. Like there's a particular sound to the
For sure.
Analog 4 and the
Yeah.
rhythm.
Oh yeah.
Right?
That's one of the reasons why I chose it, because you could just the analog crunch and saturation that you can get out of it it's just amazing. I
Yeah.
just love it so much. Yeah.
You take good advantage
and
of
it's
that.
a huge part of my sound. Yeah. And I
So-
think a lot of people expect that when
when you're playing.
yeah.
Yeah. What I do, but that's what I like about your.
How
You know,
dare
you
you.
have your sound, and I like it.
Yeah.
Do you have an analog heat?
I don't.
I feel like that's like
I want one, but
the
that's
device
just like
that you're missing.
that's just more stuff to bring.
It is more.
That's
stuff
what
to
like I got
bring.
this for, because I was
Yeah.
debating an
You just
analog.
wanted a compressor.
Yeah, and this does a really good job. It's a digital compressor, but
Yeah, but it's Apollo digital compressor. Like they have it down.
yeah, it's
Or I
really
mean,
nice.
Universal Audio. I don't know.
And it's dual compressor, so it's you can run it in parallel or
Is that what you're
in
doing?
chain. I think it's in chain
Chain gang.
gang.
Chain gang.
I think that's the right terminology.
Chain,
I don't know
chain.
my terminology, whatever. But yeah, that's me.
I love it. So tell me, who are your? We know Square Pusher and Octatrack have been mentioned already, and then just
Yeah.
an obvious correlation if you listen to their music and some of yours that you grew up listening to them a bit.
Yeah.
What are some other inspirations for you?
Well, Aphex Twin, obviously. It's kind of like the Analord. So he's a huge influence on me. There wasn't like a whole lot of, well, I grew up in upper Minnesota, like there was nothing around. So I got like my hands on a few like Aphex Twin albums and Square Pusher albums in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and I wanted more, and there wasn't much more I could find because the internet wasn't very readily usable at that
Well, yeah,
time.
no.
And so that's how I started making music. I was like, well, I'll just make it then. But it turned out to be a lot harder than I thought.
And that's when you got into trackers.
Yeah, I downloaded Jaskola Buzz,
Wait,
or Buzzmachines.
So Buzzmachines, really quick,
Mhm.
if you could relate it to another tracker's workflow, what would it be?
It's kind of like Renoise, I guess.
So it's like a classic spreadsheet style.
Yeah. It's exactly like the pattern writing and song mode, everything is spreadsheet top-down style, tracker style.
As opposed to like LSDJ style, which is, I find, some more similar to Elektron.
Isn't that top-down?
They're both, yeah, they both have the vertical display, but like there's a difference, like the way that they approach how they encapsulate phrases.
Oh, okay.
Like in
I
like
see.
the LSDJ style, you have 16-step phrases, and then you have like classic tracker style, which is like any length. The phrases can be up to, in Napoleon tracker, 128 steps.
Yeah, that's what I liked about Buzz was it could be any length you want, and everything was like a parameter. Like the BPM was a parameter within your pattern.
Oh, cool.
And and then like the actual like they had a whole page for your machines. That's why it's called Buzzmachines.
Oh,
I don't know if you ever you're into video, but you probably messed with DaVinci.
yeah,
Like how
that's what I
everything-
use.
Oh,
for all
okay.
my
So you
stuff.
know how it's like node based?
Yeah.
That's how it's like synth page was laid out.
Oh,
so like you
cool.
have a machine, it would be like your 303, and then you can attach to like a reverb, but you can also attach it to like a delay and then like split your chains and like
Oh, wow.
it was really cool.
Wow, that's like pretty advanced for
Yeah.
back then.
Oh yeah. And then like I never was able to like emulate the stuff I was doing with that until like Ableton came around. And even Ableton has got
Such a different workflow, though.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, piano roll. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I just never. That's actually so like I've like been using Bitwig for a long time. At one point, I became a Bitwig instructor, and I don't use Bitwig that much, so I don't like to even. I only say that to tell you that I've used it a lot.
Yeah.
But
I never used Bitwig.
at this point, I like barely. I don't want to even take that title on because I use hardware so much. But
Yeah.
so Bitwig was always my thing. Ableton secondary to that, and in fact, I probably used Logic more than I used Ableton. And,
Oh, okay.
In fact, even got Logic certified at one point, but I don't remember any of that shit. But but my problem with like Ableton and Bitwig is that there's no good sequencer. These sequencers, the tact, like being able to hold down, like you can see that there's a note on 11, right? And we hold 11 and we turn a knob, and that experience is unmatched to me, like hardware versus your computer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and that's why I've like stuck with hardware since I gotten down that route. Like when I wanted to get back into music again, in Portland, I took probably a year off, like when I moved into when I started actually making music again. I immediately bought hardware. Like bought this and this. So, and then after watching your videos, bought this.
I feel like
And then I was like, you need a sticker.
yeah. I feel like the tracker workflow, like you're talking about the Buzz, what is it called? Buzz sound?
Buzzmachines.
Buzzmachines. That tracker workflow is so simple. Like as far as like hardware versus software goes, the tracker workflow is the closest thing to the hardware workflow in the computer.
Exactly.
You think so?
Yeah. And I think that's why I went with especially Elektron stuff.
Yeah.
It's basically a tracker.
It's much easier to
Like I want to just turn this like sideways so I can no.
Can you imagine how whack that would be? It's just
This is what I do. This is what I do.
Hysteric Subjects, what's up?
What's up, man? Are you gonna be at the show tonight? You better be.
Yeah, he might be.
He's usually there.
Yeah, let's actually, that's a good point. Let's bring that up again really quick. So yeah, Blake, who's here in studio right now, giving us these tutorials and demonstrations, is playing tonight here in Seattle at the 4Bs at a Modbang show. Here's a little spotlight. Blake's also playing in Portland at the end of the month at Hollow Scene with some other amazing artists, as you can see. Come on down to tonight at the 4Bs. That'd be the one on the right. And come see Blake play and do these jams that he's been doing with us.
Yeah, the 4Bs is a free show too, so
Yeah,
and the place is awesome. You get some
grub.
really good tater tots there. I'm almost more excited about those tater tots.
I'm quite excited, but I'm hungry. To be honest.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, I'm feeling it for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So also, I do want to point out you are using these lovely. Do you use these? Do you actually use the flat? So these are these stands that I made to make them flat.
I'll use them when I know I'm going to be performing on a foldable table, because it brings it up like another 2 inches, which is nice.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That is good.
So it kind of helps the back a little bit. And then I use the slant. This is your stand on here, but I normally use the slanted one.
Oh, for the
Octatrack.
Okay.
Because that way it just kind of lifts it up a little bit higher than these and at a little angle.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah, everything about me is always just about camera stuff.
Right. Yeah,
that's all I really care
totally
about.
Makes sense.
And some ergo. I do find like the slant like a little bit. It's not ergonomic, from our position. I like to talk about stupid ergonomics of devices, but
ever since I started using Modbank's risers, my arthritis has gone.
Shut up. Really. Awesome, dude. Well, thank you for coming on. This has been a blast. I'm so excited to watch you play again tonight. Everybody loves it when you come up from Portland and play. And I always have people talking to me about your music after you play, because you are a stellar artist and you totally make great use of these devices. I love your workflow using the analog 4 with the rhythm, sampling the 4 into your rhythm to give you extra voices. I love that idea. You use Octatrack the same way I do, and which I also appreciate, because I think its strong suit is processing audio.
Oh yeah.
I do think it's like, as far as samplers go, it is still like the king sampler because of its chopping, because of how well it can chop stuff.
I wish Digitech had live looping. Like you could do it easier. I mean, you could probably do it in a way, but it wouldn't be as easy as this. I don't know.
I do.
The live looping on here is great. It's just I make everything I make is over 160 beats per minute. So
yeah, it's on the struggle bus.
Yeah,
there are some other devices to consider. Like the replay is actually. I mean,
I've heard that was good for that part. I was looking at the black box.
He does the live looping.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
It looks really simple too. You just like set it like if it's MIDI clocked, you just set like I don't know, like 1 bar, 2 bar. Tap it and it just does it automatically. Tap it again.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm. And then just do like effects on that, and then fade into. I don't know.
That's actually a great idea. I'm gonna have to look at that.
And it's so small. It's like
it's got a great small footprint. I don't like that it's USB powered. I don't like anything USB powered.
Yeah, me neither. That's one gripe about this. It has batteries. If I wanted to use battery power, but it drains like 4 alkaline batteries, AA's, in like 2 hours.
And you're just using it for its distortion circuit, right?
Yeah. And I always have it turned like a quarter of the way up, the feedback circuit. And then once you go past 12 o'clock, it does a little bit of overdrive as well. So it's adding a bit of warmth to the already distorted analog rhythm and then into here, yeah.
That sounds good, whatever you're doing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll never get rid of that thing.
Well, thank you for coming on. You're the best. We love Blake. Everybody should love Blake. Blake is the best. He does a lot of great stuff for the community in Portland. Blake is running live hardware electronic music shows in Portland. So if you want to play some shows, you want to talk to Blake. If you're in Portland, especially. But if you're coming to Portland, he's a great person to connect with. You can do that at modbang.com. I'll forward those inquiries about playing shows in Portland to Blake, and then he can get you scheduled if you're interested in playing live hardware music events. Without further ado, goodbye. That's a stupid way to end anything. But yeah, let's go get something to eat and let's go play a show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Thanks
Thanks everybody for hanging out, and I'll see you later this week. And if not Friday, I'll see you next week. Be well.